hereby given that a regular board meeting of the Lower Valley Water District is held on Thursday, February 25th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. There being 5 members present. I will declare a quorum. We will take a moment to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Again, we pray that everyone's family and loved ones and everyone in the community and throughout the world, that they're safe, and for all those that lost any loved ones or are fighting their battle with COVID-19, we pray that our prayers are with them and that God sees them through this. I'm gonna ask that everyone please put your phones or your iPads or your computers on mute, please, so that we don't get other conversations while we're trying to get through this meeting. With that in mind, we'll move on to item 4, open forum. Cindy or Dolores there you are, Cindy. Anyone on signed up for open forum?
No one has signed up.
No one?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda, item 5 through 10. If every director had an opportunity and chance to review this, does anyone have any questions regarding any of these items?
No question.
None?
I have no questions.
So do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve. I'll second it.
Mr. Chavez.
We're in sync there.
Okay, so Mr. Chavez approved and Mr. Carrasco second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Regular agenda, item 11, the general manager's report. Mr. Grijalva. I think you're on mute, Mr. Grijalva.
I don't think you can hear us.
Mr. Grijalva, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Okay,
Yes.
I can hear you now. Here we go. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Yes.
And it is the screen with the slideshow, right? Okay, so here we go. Did the screen change to F.E. Jackson?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good. F.E. Jackson is a self-help project. So we're doing a first time sewer connection on F.E. Jackson Street. And there's happens to be a contractor that lives on that street who's willing to do the work. So what we've done there is we've contracted with him. We're going to provide all of the materials necessary. We already gave them the design, did the survey, got the easements. Everything's ready to go. All they have to do is the work, and they're going to get started and finish that project. This is one of the several manholes that we have issues with. I think this is the one on Campo Veo. After this one was fixed, it collapsed again. And so we had to redo the base. We had to dig it up again and redo the base and then put it back together. That one is one that has a fiberglass insert in it that we're trying to find a very inexpensive way to replace the well over 1,000 manholes that we have that need either replacement or serious rehabilitation. And this is the same one and what they had to do. You can see the fiberglass insert inside the well there. This is the lift station that we're working on, again, in that same area. And pretty much the refurbishing the lift station, what I'd like to stress here is, even though we paid well over $250,000 for this work, because we did a lot of the engineering in-house, it's half the cost of the one we paid for in Saltillo 2 years ago. That one we paid well over $500,000 for. Cuadrilla package plant is working fine. You're welcome to come visit. We're monitoring it daily, so everything seems to be working okay in Cuadrilla. This is what the inspectors did for the month. And by the way, our inspectors also inspect our work to make sure we're doing it right. Human resources. The various people, we finally have people reporting to solid waste. So now we have quite a few, not solid waste, field operations. We have quite a few pipe layers coming into field operations, and we have quite a few commercial drivers coming into solid waste. We're actually having problems getting the professionals in. So our accountants and those types of positions, we're not getting very many applicants for. And these are the job openings we have as of January. The diesel mechanic, I think, has been hired, and so the fleet maintenance department has a full crew at this time. We did have an inordinate amount of injuries in the district. So what we have to do is start the retraining program. I know we're under COVID and we're not gathering in groups that are in excess of 10, actually 6 in some departments. So what we're doing is we're making a bigger space in solid waste. We're making their conference area bigger so that at least half the crew can be accommodated in the morning, another half in the afternoon, and then we resume the safety training that we have been doing for them in the past. Hopefully that's going to help with the accidents and injuries we've been experiencing the last month. Field operations. These are the new services. Obviously, they're still working on, they finished, these are the wastewater and water repairs. The main leak repair, you know about that one on Alameda. That's a AC line that goes all the way down from the beginning of the district to the Surrett Elementary in Clinton. So when something happens to that line, a pretty good sized outage occurs. So we have to address the issue really quickly, and we have to do it during TxDOT work hours. They only want us to work between the hours of 9 and 4 during the week, nothing on weekends. This is what that line looked like, where it bursts right on the side of the highway, right before you get to Tanton Road. We told Mr. Carrasco he was safe this time around, but Surrett Elementary did get closed. So we've completed Sudan Drive. We're working on Judy. And I just want to express my appreciation to the operations department, the field operations department, because this week we had to call the police on some of the irate customers. They'll stand there on the fence and threaten our employees while they're working on the project. There's some people out there that aren't the nicest people on the planet, and they yell out every obscenity they can. I told us the field operations people that they should be wearing earplugs just to not have to listen to all of this. The board will.
I hate to interrupt you, but so they're being rude to our employees, but in what way? Are they upset because of the noise, because they're working, or what?
Everything. They call them lazy. The trenches are in the way, that we should have gotten done a long time ago. And we, for safety reasons, for the trench safety, the customer safety. We have to do this thing methodically, and we don't connect them right away. We put the lines in first, and then we come back and connect them. But most people have been understanding. There's actually one guy that would show up and tell the field operations people how he wanted it done, until we told him, look, you're a safety violation, get away from us, let us do our work. This person is actually just being very belligerent. And so we call the cops on them, and while the cops are there, they're okay. Next morning, here they come again. They haven't crossed the line by affecting our personnel or jumping into a trench or getting in front of the tractor in an unsafe manner. But as soon as they do that, we'll call the police, and then the police are actually going to do something more than just tell them that they shouldn't be doing this.
Wow, okay. That's sad.
And you know what? The fact that the board doesn't hear about this means that these guys are very patient with the customers. They don't go back and duke it out with the customers at all. They just, at best, they ignore them.
I'm just surprised they haven't bothered to call the board and tell us off. Okay, that's good.
This is customer service. So 1.8 million for the month in customer service. The various methods of January payments. When I get to IT, I'm going to show you guys what the most recent payment schedules we have occurring here at the district right now. Our walk-in customers. The City of Socorro gave us $16,000 to help people pay their bills, people who were affected by COVID. We've already spent all of that money. We've also already spent all of the money the county gave us under Project Bravo to help people that were affected by COVID. We had a meeting with San Elizario, various agencies that affect the district on Tuesday, and San Elizario is going to consider giving us some money for the San Elizario residents. They all have COVID funding, but they're using it for different things. This is our meter workload. We still have delays with our meter project. The Texas Water Development Board, obviously because of the freeze they had last week, isn't even answering our calls. So we're doing the best we can with the meters we have. New installations. As you can see, we have a lot of new work orders coming in from the developments. And so sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, but it's eventually we're going to see some consistency where they're above 60, between 60 and 100 per month. And that's quite a bit in, what do you call them? Right to connect fees that we get. And that's where the revenue is coming from, the new installations and the right to connect fees. This is a new one. We're actually counting the mileage. We have 33 miles of ditches that are dedicated to us for maintenance. And so we keep track of it on our GIS platform. And so the water rights technicians, the guys who clean the ditches, are telling us by foot how much they're doing, so that we can see whether we're going to meet our goals with regard to cleaning all of the 33 miles of ditches that we have, that we're responsible for. These are the water rights reassignments. Mr. Trujillo, Ms. Vigil, you had a whole bunch of water rights to sign this last month. And the reason for that is the Water District, Water Improvement District number 1, the irrigation district, puts a moratorium on us submitting any water rights reassignments until after February, when all of the taxes have been paid and it's up to date. So we can't do any submissions from November through February, and then we can start up and do them again.
Yeah, we have quite a few. I'm still working on them.
These are our tampering figures. So basically, most of this money comes from us negotiating with people who have had delinquencies in the past and coming up with a payment schedule for them to repay what they've owed us from the past before we send it to collection. Here's your record management records. Solid waste for the month. The commercial containers keep going up. We are having conversations with Socorro. Socorro started finding the residents who have solid waste containers on the right of way. So we had a meeting with them and we asked them for their board to reconsider. So they put a moratorium on fining anybody until they meet with the board and the board decides whether they're going to allow us to put our solid waste containers in the right of way. Our logic is, if you don't put these solid waste containers in the right of way, you're going to have yards that are pretty messy because they don't have the capability to get rid of all of these large amounts of trash. And that includes bulk pickups. If people can't put their trash on the right of way so that we can pick them up with a grapple, it's just going to pile up in their yards. These are our landfill fees for the month. I mean, for the last few months. Our gas costs. So far, the shortage, well, this is February, right? So these are January figures. The shortage hasn't come into play here. If there is one, we saw a slight increase in gas prices. It's not going to affect us in any large way. And these are the unaccountable trash, which is the trash that we generate that we get rid of through solid waste. Our residential containers, the actual work orders that we have for them, and the work orders for the commercial containers. And there it is. Let's see. There should be a residential chart here somewhere. Oh, there wasn't. I'll talk to Mando. Maybe I missed it. It might be in there somewhere. Mechanic shop, they're doing fine now. For a while we were outsourcing because they just didn't have the personnel. They're back to a full contingent of personnel. A couple of them came in at a higher level because they're very well experienced. And these are the type of orders that we've got. And I don't like to put people's names on it because it puts them on the spot. So I usually don't put the names of people that did the work. They're a team. This is the IT department and what they've done for the month. The help tickets are pretty consistent throughout the whole month. There's going to be a somewhat of an increase in February because we started the new IVR system yesterday. The firewall report, again, it's a normal report, most of it coming from countries in Europe or Asia. The page here, because we've had some outages and we post the outages on our website, we are seeing an increase of the use of our website to view the outage map. So we're going to include other things in the outage map. For instance, where we have residential outages because we're connecting water meters, and where we might have some sewer blockages so that people know that we've got the trucks in the area and there's a sewer blockage that we have to take care of in that area. So we're working toward all of that. Aside from the line bursts that create either brown water or low pressure or no pressure. So our IT infrastructure is busy, everything's increasing. And there's a chart here. Okay, these are our vehicles and the average miles that our vehicles get. Obviously, the solid waste vehicles are the ones with the highest mileage. Where's our chart? Brian, there was a chart with there it is. So basically, the bottom right shows that we had a decreased firewall capability for February 1st. And the reason for all of that is around February 1st, the beginning of February, is we had a lot of help desk tickets where we replaced and reinstalled computers. And what we do is we shut off the firewall for that particular computer while we install it, and then we bring the firewall back up. There was no threat. There is no virus that got introduced into the system. We were just having to shut down, put the system back together, and then bring up the firewall. Okay, so this is the IVR system. It started yesterday. Okay. So on our website, this is what you're going to see. And we're starting to register people. And then on the phone, it's going to be one of the first options you enter. If you'd like to pay your bill via an automatic system, please press 1, and it sends you right into the automatic system that you can pay your bill through. So this is what's happened in the last 2 days. We've had 137 people already log in and pay $13,000 of their bills on the IVR just in 2 days. So half of it is split on the web and half of it is split on the phone. And what's interesting here is we haven't even registered, we have to register 18,000 of our customers. We haven't even registered all of our customers yet. So actually, some customers, 1 or 2 customers are calling in and they say, I'm not even registered yet. We'll say, yeah, just be patient. Once your cycle comes up, we'll have you registered so that you can log in and pay your bill. They're paying easily through their credit cards, not a problem. The system remembers what credit card they used, so that next month they can use the same one. I think it's pretty cool. For the second day of starting what we call the Invoice Cloud software. And I think that's it.
Okay. I guess the only issue there is, take for instance, if I bank with Government Employees Credit Union and pay my bills through Government Employees Credit Union, they have to run a check in order to pay Laura Valley. So by the time they run the check, it's going to take a while when you get it. And so I guess it's because there is no agreement between government employees and Laura Valley Water District. Has anyone checked into something like that?
Let me remove the share. I'm trying to, Ryan, how do I do that?
Yeah, I've got the same issue. I've got Wells Fargo, and I pay through Wells Fargo. And I know one of the times I didn't include the whole account number. I guess you have to include the account number and your customer number. And in one of them, I didn't. And so some of my funds went to a dormant account or an account that had been turned off. But I was able to retrieve it. Somebody, as a matter of fact, I wanted to provide kudos to, I think it was Isabel that helped me out, and she managed to retrieve the money, gave me credit, and I was good to go. But there is a delay. I think it's about a 5 or 6 day delay from the bank to the Lower Valley Water District.
But see, in your situation, that was a little different. In my situation is if I go to a pay bill, anybody else, it'll show you, for instance, you scheduled a date and it'll show you, usually it's like the next day, or depending what day you did it and what time, it'll go like two additional days. But for Lower Valley Water District, they literally have to run a check to pay Lower Valley. So I'm always going to be late.
Mhm. We're configuring the online Bank Direct. I've been working with Martha on that, and that should be ready here in the next few days.
Oh, so you think we'll be able to get it done then?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
Ryan, you're a sweetheart. Thank you.
It's awesome the way it works. I'm expecting to see the bill on, because we're gonna go into e-bill. So I'm expecting to see the bill on my email, a link to pay it, and eventually the capability to pay it off of my phone.
Oh,
We're working toward all of that, and it's gonna be pretty seamless to everybody. And it looks like, from what I see in these 2 days, the public was dying for this thing. It looks like it's gonna be very successful.
that's good. Okay, does anyone have any other questions?
Ms. Veal, if I may,
Yes.
there's only a couple of comments. I just want to, first of all, just say, just kind of gives recognition to Jerry Grijalva and his team. I know there's probably some that are in the front lines. I think sometimes we take them for granted and stuff, but I know some that are in front lines working each day, the solid waste guys that aren't able to work from home. And so I just want to, say the appreciation, I'm sure, for all the board, but we really appreciate all the employees that have been coming in each day and just keeping the district moving and going forward. So I just wanted to kind of just let them know that we appreciate them. And then the second question I was going to ask is, with the freeze, Jerry, was there a lot of breaks and a lot of things that happened? Was there anything at all? Absolutely.
We had very many residential valve and hydrant leaks. So the master meters we have on hydrants, we had them breaking all over the place. Now, we hold the person that buys or rents the hydrant from us responsible for that, because we tell them they should be insulating the hydrants to keep them from freezing. And so if they don't, it's going to break. And we had calls throughout the whole weekend. Our standby people actually had to go out there in the cold, in the snow, and shut off hydrants that were just spraying water all over the place. I think I got a couple of calls from Mr. Trujillo, and there were some calls from other people that were telling me, we've got this huge spray of water coming out. Can you guys come over? And we had to show up at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. We were out there. So kudos to those guys. You're absolutely right. The sewer blockages, we have to handle those very quickly. If not, we're going to flood homes. So they're out there and they show up no matter what, and then they do the work. One thing I also want to say for all of the district personnel is, if you look at the COVID figures for the city of El Paso, they're at about under 10%. For the Lower Valley Water District, it's over 33%. So at least 1/3 of our people have already gotten COVID. And thank goodness nobody's died, but that's because we have to be here and we have to keep the systems running. So thank you, Mr. Estrada, for recognizing that. I mean, Mr. Carrasco for recognizing that, because I tell them every day, this is very important work, and I wish we didn't have to be here, but we do.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we all agree. I think we all appreciate each and every one. And I'm also believe that they're probably happy to get back to work also, because being home sometimes can be pretty depressing, even though it's safe. But we really say thank you to everyone. So all you managers, thank all your staff. We really appreciate it. And somebody must have delivered dinner to Mr. Carrasco for him to be so generous. Or he
Yeah,
did
yeah. I just want to say thank you. I didn't want medium rare, so I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and move on to the rest of the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. Item 12, consider and take action to award request for proposal for the automotive fuel services diesel and unlead RFQ. I mean, RF, that says P, okay? Number 210212-01. Ms.
Thank
Rivera.
you. Yes, thank you, Madam President. Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Blanco and staff members. The district published request for proposal for automotive fuel services, diesel and unleaded, RP number 21-021201, on Wednesday, January 27th, and a second time Wednesday, February 3rd, in the El Paso Times. The invitation for bid was also posted at the district's main office. Requests for proposals were received and opened on Friday, February 12th at 3 p.m. The purchasing department reached out to Rio Valley Biofuels, Pinnacle Petroleum Incorporated, and CNR Distribution. The district was to received only one proposal from CNR Distributing. We reached out to the vendors that we thought were interested in participating, and they informed us that they were working on other solicitations, and they just were not able to commit in participating to the Lower Valley Water District proposal. So since we have only one bid, the district is, the administration is requesting the board consider and approve automotive fuel service diesel and unleaded RFP number 21-0212-01 to CNR Distributing. CNR Distributing did decrease the pricing from the previous bid. So the unleaded will cost the district about 5 cents lower than what we were originally paying. So it went from 24 cents per gallon to, a markup, 24 cents per gallon markup on the Opus weekly average report. And so it went from 24 to 20 cents. And on the unleaded, it went from 20 cents per gallon markup on the off of the Opus report to 18. So it did decrease 5 cents on the unleaded and 2 cents on the diesel. So if the board, does the board have any questions?
No, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions?
No questions, ma'am.
No questions.
With no questions in mind, I so move to approve item 12.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rosa. Item 13, discussion and possible action to accept the grant award from the North American Development Bank's NAT Community Assistance Program CAP in support of the residential wastewater connections in the Rosa Azul subdivision project area, and to allow the board president to sign the grant agreement. Mr. Flores, how are you, sir?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Blanco, and the staff for the Lower Valley Water District. And thank you for this moment that we received this award that has been long anticipated for the $500,000 from NatBank for the CAP project for Rosa Azul. These $500,000 will help offset the cost of the decommissioning and the connection of the sewer connections from the street to the home. And so we met also with the Finance Committee on this, and the Engineering Committee, Madam President. And so the contract is a boilerplate contract. We met with them again this afternoon with NetBank, and we're moving right along on this project. And so we're excited that we've been waiting for this money since last year that we've been working on this project. So I highly recommend that the board approve this item, Madam President.
Did you all meet with any of the committees on this?
Yes, ma'am. We met with both the engineering and finance committee.
Okay.
But one thing I might add is the NatBank agreed to pay us retroactively for all of the expenses we've incurred so far in decommissioning the residential systems.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This is Rod Chavez. We did have a question, and that's going to help what Jerry just stated. That's going to help offset some of the payment that we owed. I think it was Mr. Evo Morales and his company, because they had already decommissioned some of those septic tanks. So, so this is really good for the district.
So does that mean that, is that in the form of a motion, Mr. Chavez, being that you were in the finance committee?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make the motion to approve as
Okay.
presented.
And I'll second.
And seconded by Mr. Carrasco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Thank you.
Item 14, discussion and possible action to accept the grant award from the Rio Grande Council of Governments from the fiscal year 2021 Regional Solid Waste Project Allocation COG Managed Program for Community Cleanup Events. Oh, this is good. Go ahead,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Flores.
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Blanco, and members of the staff of Lower Valley Water District. This is just a formality of accepting the grant for community cleanups. We originally had applied for $26,000 to do numerous events. Unfortunately, it is a competitive grant. We were only able to pull down $10,220. So we'll be with
Uh-oh, I think we lost him, no?
Yeah, we lost them.
Yeah,
these
unfortunately, Mike,
funds. We'll be able to do 3 events.
we lost you there for a while.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. And so the formality is accepting this grant. So what we'll be doing is 3 events, one for Socorro, one at San Elizario, and one at the county. And so this will help offset some of the costs that are associated with cleanup events.
Okay,
So the motion that comes before you is just the formality of accepting these dollars for our events.
okay, does anyone have any questions regarding this item? If not, I so move that we approve the item as presented to us by Mr. Flores,
I'll second the motion.
seconded by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Item 15, discussion and possible action regarding disconnect policy of delinquent accounts. Ms. Nevares, how are you, Martha?
Hi, good evening. I'm doing fine. Thank you
Good.
for asking. I believe this item was brought on February 4th, the special board meeting. And it was recommended that we met with the finance committee team to review our policy for disconnects. And I would like to share the screen so that I can present. Let me see. Just 1 second. Okay, so this is our disconnect policy before COVID. We had, so whenever we generate a bill, we send it out and it is due 16 days from the date it is mailed. On the 17th day, if we do not receive payment, then a delinquent letter is sent and a late fee of $10 is applied to each customer's account. On the 27th day, if we haven't received any payments, then we go and disconnect and apply a $25 late fee or disconnect fee. And of course, on the 34th day, if we still haven't received any payments, then the deposit is applied and the account is closed. with COVID, we were doing, during the COVID times, we have been sending out the bill the same as for the regular. It is due 16 days after it is mailed. On the 17th day, we were only sending a delinquent letter, which we were also applying the $10 late fee. We were not disconnecting our customers. We were sending notices to the customer to call the office to either make a payment arrangement or sign, to make a payment or sign a payment arrangement plan for 6 or 12 months.
¿Quién dijo que el credit?
We do have water assistance programs, which we offer to our customers if they're not able to pay their bills. We have the LVWD Cares, which the requirements are, I guess, to be seniors under a financial hardship, being a risk of being disconnected, and 100% of the poverty level income. We also have the City of Socorro, which allocated $16,000. So we were able to identify some customers residing during within the City of Socorro, and we allocated to the amount to 46 accounts, the 16,000, and pretty much the qualifications are to live within the City of Socorro and have a past due on their water bills. We also have the Project Bravo assistance, which as of 2/11/2021, we had allocated $13,444.76, which means that we've assisted 87 customers. And the requirements are as follows. So they have to fall within that category. And then, so this is our proposed plan. We have identified delinquent accounts, which totals to 905 accounts. That's $223,929.75. And I have detailed whether they're commercial, apartments, residential, solid waste accounts. And so our plan is to continue to help our customers, call them before they get disconnected, give them the option to either set up an installment plan for 6 or 12 months, and then continue to offer the water assistance programs. We just received notification from the county that they are extending the assistance. So we're going to continue to help our customers. But at this time, we feel that it is crucial that we continue with the disconnects for this sake of the district. And we did meet with the Finance Committee on February 11th, and they were in agreement. So at this point, we are recommending that we continue or resume disconnections for our delinquent accounts.
Actually, from your report, the majority of the delinquent are residential.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be commercial.
No.
Wow.
No, it's residential.
Okay, and I get, like you stated, you met with the Finance Committee, and I guess Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Chavez, it is the recommendation of the committee to move forward with the plan as presented to us?
Yes, ma'am. That was the recommendation from the Finance Committee. We're still, we're losing a lot of funds. So we're up to 223,000 now, and it's projected to grow if we don't do anything about it. But we're offering our customers an incentive to call us, place them on a 6-month to 12-month plan if they can't afford it. So I think that's our recommendation, is to continue the disconnection if they don't call the office and make arrangements.
Right. As much as I hate to do that, and I wish we could be a little more lenient, especially during this period of time, we have to move forward. And the only way the district can continue to function and, meet its commitment is to make sure that our customers do pay their bill on time. So, wow. With that in mind, I so move that we approve the plan as presented and recommended by the Finance Committee.
Okay, Ms. McGill, there's no motion required since you passed it the last month.
Oh, that's right. That was just a discussion. I'm sorry. Thank you. Item 6, thank you, Martha.
Yeah.
Item 16, discussion and possible action to approve amendment number 2 for inspection services for Rosa Azul yard lines. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, good evening, everyone. This item is related to the item that Mr. Flores presented because hand by hand. NetBank, one of the requirements is for a third party to look over the project, to oversee the project. And this amendment is to give RPR services and CM services to MCI, which is our consultant that is already overlooking that project. This amendment will cover phase 1, 2, and 3. As Mr. Flores mentioned, Evo Madrid has already done some of the yard lines. So this MCI is going to do record drawings on the yard lines and coordination with the city of Socorro as part of the CM services. Also, the RPR services is going to finish the overseeing of the project for the rest of the yard lines that are missing and completion of the project on the yard lines. We have discussed this amendment with the engineering committee as well, and it's coming up to $124,907.62, around $125,000, I would say. And we would like to recommend the approval of amendment number 2 for the Rosa Azul wastewater project contingent on NetBank funding. If there's any questions. So if there's any questions.
I don't have any questions.
No questions for myself.
So do I hear a motion to approve this?
I move to approve item number 16 as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. And do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Sheesh. I was gonna say, not everyone jump in at once.
I think Henry's on mute.
Second.
Henry made the motion first, but he was on mute. That's what he's complaining about.
No quiere que oiga que Margaret le está gritando. It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Daniel. Item 17, executive session. The Board of Directors will retire in executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 through 551.076 Texas Government Code to discuss any of the following: 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. Discussion regarding pending personnel matters. Discussion regarding real estate update on most recent real estate negotiation. It is 7:19. We'll go into executive session. Thank you.
Go. Leave.
Did you leave it? Okay, I guess we're back in session. Is everyone on there?
Yes.
I don't see Mr. Trujillo.
Hold on.
I'm here. I'm here.
Mr. Trujillo? You
Steve,
don't
I
see
guess
Mr. Trujillo yet, right, Ryan?
Steve, that was 7:41,
I'm sorry.
7:41 when we executive session ended. Is he in? No.
Not yet.
And so Laura Valley will take a break while we wait for its next director to log in. No, Henry, we could have finished this meeting already.
You could have set a record.
Oh, God.
I've got him on the phone. He can hear.
Okay, the board's back in session. There was no action taken in executive session at 7:43 PM. The next item on the agenda is item 18, discussion and possible action regarding real estate for Mesa del Norte package plant. I so move that we approve this item as presented in closed session.
Now that will come back to the board once the negotiations are done and a real estate contract is entered into for final approval.
Okay, so you can add that on to the agenda, to the motion?
Okay.
Yeah, we need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 19, discussion and possible action regarding, we don't need an action item on the committees. This is just to inform you. I did email each one of you to include Cindy and Mr. Grijalva, the list of committees. They're basically going to remain the same other than we're doing away with the building extension committee. I don't think we need that. I think that basically falls under the finance committee. No, I'm sorry. Yes, we do. I think the one we're doing away with is the loan committee. And that was Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Estrada. We won't need that. That falls under finance. I'll have to revise the spreadsheet, and the building expansion committee is really moving into an emergency infrastructure committee, which will be Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Chavez. So engineering committee remains the same, Henry Trujillo and David Estrada, understanding that there is an emergency infrastructure committee with Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Chavez. Human Resource Committee remains Rosalinda Vigil and David Carrasco. The loan committee, I've done away with it. Investment committee is myself and Mr. Trujillo. Finance remains the same with Mr. Chavez and Mr. Carrasco. The Fleet Service Committee, Mr. Trujillo and Mr. Estrada. Water Rights, myself and Mr. Trujillo. IT, I am removing myself from the IT committee and passing it on to Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Chavez. The Recycling Committee, I am removing myself and appointing Mr. Estrada with Mr. Chavez. I just need to go back and revise infrastructure if I didn't do that. That tells me that Mr. Trujillo is on 4 committees, Mr. Carrasco on 4, Mr. Chavez on 4. Mr. Estrada, I believe, is on 3, but I'm coming up with another committee that I will be appointing Mr. Estrada on there, and that will give him 4. And I will be on 3 committees myself. Please look at the committee list and feel free to call me, understanding that I don't want to sound bossy on this, but the president is the one that assigns the committees. What I will tell you is I need everyone to understand that when there is a committee, Mr. Grijalva and his staff will call a committee, and unless the board president asks for one, if for any reason a director needs any additional information or wants an update, that's not considered a committee. That's not considered something that you're going to call a committee and be paid a fee of office for. You need to go in and ask for any information or call. Committee is a group of individuals that will meet based on the, to assist the staff with making certain decisions. Okay, Cindy, you will email me anytime that there is a committee. Other than that, like I said, there is another committee that I had in mind that I'd like to appoint Mr. Estrada to, and more than likely, either myself or Mr. Chavez will serve on that committee as well. Okay? With that in mind, if no one has any other questions, I move to item 20, so move to adjourn. Gee, not everybody at once.
I second.
Mr. Carrasco, thank you. Again, we want everyone to please be careful, stay safe, and know that we're here if you need anything, and we're hoping that we will continue to see this pandemic through. We all know that it's not going away. I'm hoping that everyone has moved forward in making an attempt to get vaccinated. And if anyone needs any help, feel free to reach out. I know there's several of us that are willing to go in and log in and assist you. Other than that, I guess we'll just see this pandemic through. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to attend the meeting. It is 7:49 p.m. Like I said, it's been moved and seconded by Mr. Carrasco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Good night.